Welcome everyone to the 117th Celebrity Synastry chart reading, where we will be looking into Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Adeline and it is so nice to meet you. On this channel, I look at the dynamic between two celebrities using astrology. For those new and returning, I take notes on a synastry chart looking at the personal planet signs aspects and, if birth time is available, house overlays. I share these notes and add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe and click the bell to join us weekly, and let's get right into this one. Starting off with the sun, we have Kate's sun in Libra and Leonardo's sun in Scorpio. There's a strong emotional bond and manageable differences, which I assume is why they've stayed friends for so long. Kate's detachment upsets Leonardo, and Leonardo is more invested than Kate. They have contrasting problem solving. Kate's sun overlaid in Leonardo's first house. Kate really likes Leonardo and marriage is possible. I mean, from Leonardo's end, I assume it is. I guess, with his standards, maybe not. But I'm pretty sure Kate is married. I guess you could see this as when they first met, they definitely, I'm sure if they got married, it would have been massive, success for both of them. So I guess in that way, marriage was possible once upon a time. Leonardo is energized by Kate, and Kate is a light in Leonardo's life, which is why I assume, because we did see that Leonardo's more invested in Kate, so I assume maybe that he's the one making a bit more an effort to keep this relationship going and friendship going. They both feel positive about the other and they bring out the best in each other. They both feel familiar with each other and they both boost the other's self-esteem. Kate feels like Leonardo really gets her, and Kate feels she can be herself around Leonardo. Leonardo appreciates the admiration he gets from Kate. Leonardo's sun overlaid in Kate's 10th house. Leonardo sees Kate as an authority figure, and Leonardo believes he deserves respect from Kate, which does show he does get the respect he feels he deserves, it seems like, or feels he deserves, I should say. Kate enjoys the respect she receives from Leonardo, and Leonardo accepts Kate without thinking. So very much confirming what we did see, how she feels she can be herself, and she feels like, Leonardo just gets her. Leonardo thinks Kate is more intellectual than him. Kate's sun conjunct to Leonardo's moon. There's a powerful connection and there's a blending of goals. I mean, with their acting with Titanic, I'm not sure if they've actually acted before besides that one film, because I know they've definitely had a public friendship and all of that, but I'm not sure if they've ever done any projects post Titanic, but that's there. Initial attraction is felt by Leonardo, and Leonardo plays a supportive role and Kate tends to lead the relationship. I mean, that kind of I know in Titanic, both of them are kind of the main lead, so to speak, but Rose in Titanic was very much the main character, I would say, and Leonardo was just the sort of love interest there, from my understanding and how I interpreted the film anyway. So I feel like this very much lines up to literally Leonardo playing a supportive role and Kate leading. Kate's sun square Leonardo's Saturn. Kate sacrifices her freedom and Kate is too sensitive to criticism. They both attempt to support each other and Kate may outgrow Leonardo. The only way I can really see this is because they were both very young when they both met and everything, and all of that, started their careers together effectively. The way I'm seeing this is, as far as I know, Kate, she's been married, had a family and all of that, whereas Leonardo kind of hasn't really grown up, so to speak. This sort of Peter Pan syndrome, he's kind of being young forever, whereas Kate has kind of moved on with things, accomplished things you're supposed to as you get older, and matured and all of that, whereas Leonardo kind of is stuck in this Peter Pan syndrome, so to speak. They both feel mature, seems mostly on Kate's end. Leonardo tends to be critical of Kate, and Kate feels blocked and discouraged by Leonardo. I wonder, maybe because both feel mature, it is kind of unfair to say only Kate has. You could say that Leonardo potentially had more success when it came to films and all of that. So maybe that is where, maybe Leonardo is judging Kate's sort of life decisions when it comes to outside of acting, and that is maybe where she feels blocked and discouraged by him. Hopefully we'll see a bit more. Kate sees Leonardo as all the traditions she wants to overcome, and they both need to really want this relationship to work, which we did see in the beginning. It seems like Leonardo is putting a bit more effort into that. Kate's Sun sextile Leonardo's Neptune. They easily forgive each other and they explore intuition together. Okay. They have a spiritual bond and they're attuned to each other's feelings. They are conscious of each other's needs, which we did see kind of like with Kate feeling like Leonardo just gets her. So I guess in that sense, you know, he is conscious of her. Both feel they have found their soulmate. I mean, they always can be like, you know, friend soulmates and like, you know, colleague soulmates even. Just like, you know, a fellow kin in the acting scene. Kate's Sun conjunct to Leonardo's Pluto. There's a deep attraction, which we did see that Leonardo is the one that is initially attracted to Kate. So I assume like when they both met and when they were, I don't want to say in their prime, but like when they were starting out things and when like things were like jumping off and everything, I assume like, you know, they were both like young, new beautiful people in Hollywood, you know, there would be attraction there, I imagine. Kate is drawn to Leonardo and it's not a superficial union, which we did just see like their spirituality and intuition is there, but I feel like there seems to be a lot of softening factors as well besides like superficial, we just make money together and work together. Leonardo is more dominant and they both have a fear of losing the other. Okay. Issues due to taboo and addiction. I don't know if this would be maybe a personal thing, because that could very well be a thing, I imagine. Like, if you're close colleagues in Hollywood, like, there definitely is a likelihood of one or both of them, like, getting caught up in the more sort of, like, darker side of things. So I think that could be potentially it. Otherwise, I'm not really sure because, you know, neither of the, I mean, Leonardo's love life is a bit taboo and, you know, scrutinized, but as far as like that concerning their friendship, particularly Kate, not really sure. Kate triggers Leonardo's jealousy and possessiveness, and they both have a desire to know each other's deep secrets. Okay. Now for the intermission. This video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my Synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized Synastry readings on my Etsy store, both basic and detailed. The basic one is very simple to understand. It's not overwhelming at all. It's pretty good for those that are beginners to astrology, just getting the head around astrology, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed one is just like what I do on my channel, just a lot of insight and interpretation on your chart. So if you are interested in that and everything else astrology and tarot related, readings and gifts, then definitely check out my Etsy store. Links are below. I'm always releasing new things, so definitely check it out if you're interested. You can even just favorite the store just to show your support for free. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the reading. So now it's time for Moon. We have Kate's Moon in Libra, and Leonardo's Moon is also in Libra. So they instinctively understand one each other, which we did see before a bit. They please each other, and they both need a partner to feel complete, which I imagine it's something that they just both, you know, sympathize with the other rather than like they are the partners to complete the other, which is very interesting, like to consider the fact that maybe they understand each other's love lives, because that would come up in friendship, you know, talking about that sort of thing. It is just very interesting considering that could be somewhere where they relate to, considering, take a shot every time I say considering. Since, you know, both of them have very different love lives, you know, one is a bit more stable, one is still a bit more like bachelory. They share everything equally. I wonder if there was some sort of deal where they made an equal amount of money in Titanic, maybe, because I know that can happen, you know, deals between like co-workers, like I'll only do this if we make the same amount of money or something like that. I wonder if there was something like that. They spend a lot of time talking and they create an aesthetic home together, which maybe on Titanic set, maybe they had like a nice movie set they did together or something like that. Or they just relate to each other's like, you know, aesthetic taste when it comes to like the home and all of that. And that's somewhere where they, you know, have common ground. Kate's Moon overlaid in Leonardo's first house. They both feel safe expressing their feelings and it's a tender and warm relationship. Kate feels immediately safe with Leonardo and Kate brings out a sensitive Leonardo. Leonardo's Moon overlaid in Kate's 9th house. Leonardo idolizes Kate and Leonardo brings out the best in Kate, which I assume would be because, you know, he allows her to be herself and all of that, and that really helps her. Leonardo feels Kate is out of his league. there is a bit more, I guess, attraction would be the better word, like investment on Leonardo's end here, because we did see he seems to be making a bit more effort here. He seems to be, hold a lot of attraction for Kate. And also we did see how she triggers like possessiveness in him and jealousy. So it seems like he's genuinely interested in her, or was at some point. Kate may be emotionally attached to Leonardo, and Kate may become dependent on Leonardo. They share similar attitudes on politics and religion, and there is possible for long distance, which obviously would be at this point in time now, because as far as I know, they haven't done anything since Titanic. And they have very different lifestyles and all of that. So, and also like the British American thing, because I was just thinking, oh, they both like live in America, both like live in England, don't they? But no, Leonardo's actually American. I completely forgot about that for a second. So they probably do live like in separate continents as well, literally long distance. There's mutual respect, admiration, and affection. Their moons are conjunct together, so they are intuitive with each other, which we did see they have that spiritual connection and everything. They both have in-tune moods, and they accept each other's feelings, and they like to support each other. There's a tendency to get passive-aggressive. Kate's moon is square Leonardo's Saturn. Kate feels emotionally insecure, which is a very odd thing, considering we did see she tends to be more emotionally attached to Leonardo. I'm very curious to see where this would go, because it could be a matter of like she wants to be emotionally attached to him, but Leonardo's not really like, nurturing that and everything. So in turn, she becomes insecure in that way. So I'm curious to see if we'll see a bit more with that. Leonardo sees Kate as needy and oversensitive, which we did see that he feels she's sensitive to criticism. So I assume it's more like the sensitive thing, because the needy thing, it seems like that's more Leonardo over anything else. So I assume it's just the oversensitive thing is really highlighted here. Possibility of an awkward relationship, and Kate feels judged by Leonardo. Again, potentially, like we did see before, some things alluding to maybe Leonardo not being super supportive of Kate's lifestyle, maybe current state of life and everything. So I wonder if that is just that. Hopefully we'll see a bit more. Leonardo's moon conjunct Kate's Mercury. They enjoy long conversations, and they enjoy being each other's therapists, not really surprisingly so. Sometimes Leonardo is too logical for Kate. So I assume that is where like he's a bit more on the logical side rather than emotional, which is why Kate may tend to be emotionally insecure. Kate is a practical help to Leonardo, and sharing ideas is a big part of their relationship, which seems to be in terms of like a relationship and like home ideas and stuff like that. Otherwise, we haven't seen anything else super specific in terms of like their common interests and stuff like that. Leonardo can get easily attached to Kate, not surprisingly, so it seems like he's a bit more attached than Kate here. Leonardo's moon opposite Kate's Jupiter. Emotions can get out of control. In what way? The only way I can really see this is potentially with Kate maybe being a bit too emotionally invested compared to Leonardo. There are unkept promises, and they're attracted to the other because the other has what they need. What would that be? I feel like honestly, like these two are pretty equal for the most part, so I'm not sure where one would have a bit more than the other. What? Their beliefs are conflicted, and Leonardo may smother Kate. I kind of see that though, like if he's, really trying to make a connection with her, and like honestly, she probably has a life. Like she has a family, she has movies to make and everything. Like I'm sure she doesn't have a great amount of spare time for that. They both think the other is a bad influence, huh? Leonardo's moon conjunct Kate's Pluto. They trigger strong feelings in the other, and there's immense spiritual growth. Not surprisingly so, we did see spirituality is a thing here. They work through past relationships together. I mean, they were quite young. I'm sure like that could definitely be a possibility though, like having relationships previous to, becoming friends with each other. So that could definitely be there. Maybe that is where, because we did see like they both feel the need to have a partner to complete themselves, something like that. So I wonder if maybe issues like that they relate to with the other. I don't know, maybe in they had past relationships they didn't want to let go of because I need a partner to feel complete, and they were able to, confide in each other about that sort of thing. if that makes sense. It's not a superficial relationship, and Leonardo may become needy. Yeah, this keeps coming up, not surprisingly so. Easy for them to talk about deeper and darker subjects, and Kate may see Leonardo as too sensitive, which, okay, like we did see with Leonardo a couple times already for Kate, so it's probably just a mutual thing. They have a strong mental connection, and they subconsciously need each other. Interesting. They can make great wealth together. I mean, pretty great wealth. Don't probably correct me if I'm wrong, actually. I'm pretty sure that Titanic is like the most like top grossing movie of all time. If not, definitely, like, I'm very confident in saying, like, top 5. Like, they made a lot of money, you know, being together. Intense passion keeps them together for a long time, which, you know, being passionate doesn't have to necessarily be, like, more than a friendship thing. You know, they could just be passionate about, like, their connections and all of that and, you know, the conversations together. So now it's time for Mercury. We have Kate's Mercury in Libra and also Leonardo's Mercury in Libra. So they have abstract conversations, which I assume this would be more relating to, like, the spirituality side of things and all of that, like having those abstract spiritual discussions. They both tend to be argumentative and it's intellectually stimulating. They share detached and objective values. Kate's Mercury overlaid in Leonardo's first house. Kate can easily express herself to Leonardo, which we did see a bit more than not, that Leonardo is quite accepting of Kate, allows her to be herself and everything. Leonardo finds it easy to understand Kate, and Leonardo feels more talkative around Kate. Leonardo's Mercury overlaid in Kate's 10th house. It's hard to talk about things outside of goals and career, and Kate may be fascinated by Leonardo, which I assume this will be a bit more towards like the beginning of their relationship or friendship, I should say. Kate tends to idolize Leo, which we did see in the beginning that Leonardo seems to feels he deserves a respect from Kate. So it seems like he's very much getting that respect. Possibly one-sided relationship. I see this in two ways. I feel like one-sided emotionally for Kate. It seems we've seen a bit more that she desires a bit more emotions than Leonardo, and also for Leonardo, it seems like he puts a bit more effort, he's a bit more invested in this than Kate. They're a public couple and they may like to work together, which yes and no, because obviously the Titanic, but I seriously don't think they have worked outside of that. Like, have they ever done movies after the Titanic? Because I cannot think of like anything they've done together after that. Leonardo's Mercury square Kate's Saturn. There's a deep respect for the other's intelligence. Kate can be intimidated by Leonardo's practicality, and Kate feels inferior to Leonardo. So she's definitely putting him on a pedestal, it seems like. There is serious tone in conversation, and negativity and criticism take over conversation. I mean, the way you could also interpret this is if they are two friends like gossiping, I can see how negativity and criticism can sometimes take over. Like, sometimes you want to have a vent, sometimes you want to be critical of other people, sometimes you're not necessarily all bubbles and sunshine and all of that. So in that way, I assume that is where negativity and criticism take over conversation, especially because it seems like they're quite comfortable talking to each other about anything. They both question their role in their relationship. Leonardo's Mercury sextile Kate's Venus. They encourage each other to be themselves. It seems like this is a bit more on Leonardo's end. They share mutual friends and there is easy communication and they're attuned emotionally. I mean, kind of, because like they do have the same moon sign, which helps. It just seems like Kate is a bit more wanting a bit more emotional connection. They enjoy the same movies and music, and they enjoy socializing together. Leonardo's Mercury trine Kate's Mars. Kate stimulates Leonardo's mind, and Kate energizes Leonardo, which I think we're seeing again. Kate helps Leonardo develop his ideas, which we did see that they do a lot of sharing of ideas, so that's repeated. Leonardo teaches Kate how to be more reasonable. Again, it seems like, I don't think I've pointed this out before, but it has been sprinkled in already a few times where like Leonardo's practicality is very much a thing in this relationship and helping Kate with that. They both move forward in this relationship. I mean, that's one way to put it for sure. Leonardo helps Kate to problem solve and there is healthy intellectual competition. They work well together and Kate takes Leonardo's words personally. Again, another indicator, she seems to be putting him on a bit of a pedestal, which is a bit odd because they are of the same age or similar age, I'm pretty sure. So it's not like an age thing. Maybe it is like Leonardo did have a bit more movies before Titanic, because he did have like a few films going around like that period of time in the 90s. So I'm not sure if Titanic was the first one. But potentially, like, he did have a bit of success, and that is why Kate is taking him a bit more, like, seriously, you know, admiring him a bit more. And they enjoy debating together, which, again, there's a lot of, like, they enjoy talking to each other, which is good. Leonardo's Mercury square Kate's Saturn, so this is a repeated aspect, just inverted, so everything from before is further emphasized, but also Leonardo can be intimidated by Kate's practicality, and Leonardo feels inferior to Kate. I assume this will be in terms of like his seeming, you know, attraction to Kate and all of that. Leonardo's Mercury conjunct Kate's Uranus. Kate challenges Leonardo's way of thinking, and which I assume would be in terms of, we did see that Kate helps Leonardo develop his ideas. That, you know, you would have to kind of do that with a little bit of challenge and all of that. They are impulsive together and they both enjoy experimenting. The impulsive together bit, I just remembered, like, there was a bit of a note where they both think the other's a bad influence, so I assume maybe related to that. They come up with original ideas together, which we're seeing again, ideas being a thing here. They discover new ways of seeing the world together, and Leonardo truly understands Kate's originality. They grow intellectually together and they casually talk about taboos. I have to assume this is about Leonardo's like love life and everything. And we did see before like something about taboos before, something about that. So it's kind of repeated, and I have to assume it is, yeah, about Leonardo's love life and the decisions he's making. Otherwise, I'm not sure what it would be. They share an interest in unusual topics and they are creative together. They find uncommon solutions to problems. So now it's time for Venus. We have Kate's Venus in Virgo and Leonardo's Venus in Scorpio. They feel safe together, which I think we did see. Was it that Kate feels immediately safe with Leonardo? So that's repeated, which is nice. Kate is receptive to Leonardo and subtle control issues are a problem. I mean, the closest we've seen to this is with Leonardo, you know, being triggered by Kate to be like jealous and possessive and all of that. So his possessiveness, I assume, they work hard at making the relationship work, and Leonardo sometimes gives Kate the silent treatment, which I imagine isn't that hard to do. I mean, if you're long distance, the silent treatment is kind of a given, especially when you're not in a proper relationship, actively trying to constantly keep in contact. If you're just long distance friends, that's like bound to happen, so it's not shocking. Leonardo gets Kate's attention by pushing buttons. Yeah. Kate's Venus overlaid in Leonardo's 11th house. Kate immediately likes Leonardo, so there seems to be like an immediate like of the other. We did see that Leonardo's pretty much immediately attracted to Kate. They are comfortable with each other, and Leonardo senses he can be himself around Kate, which we do keep seeing a lot more, like Leonardo allowing Kate to be herself, but like there's nothing to indicate Kate doesn't allow Leonardo to be himself, which we're seeing here now. They both share the same social activities and they are good friends. They are both open with the other, which I think we're also seeing again a lot. Leonardo's Venus overlaid in Kate's 10th house. Work is their focus, which we did see work as their focus, and I think we did see before a note of like it's hard to talk about things outside of goals and career. But, you know, they're not really colleagues, though, as such. Like, it's not like they're constantly making films together like we see other actor duets. So I assume simply because they have the same career, they just would be talking about their projects a lot and stuff like that, which is their work and all of that. Their areas of expertise complement each other, and Leonardo sees Kate as someone that can help him improve his status. Kate sees Leonardo as having talent in areas she lacks, and they work well together. They respect each other's strengths and skills, and it's a productive and profitable relationship, not surprisingly so. They both want to be the boss, which is an interesting thing because they are, I don't want to say they're the boss in their own ways, but they both put the other on the pedestal in different ways. Kate's Venus sextile Leonardo's Uranus. Leonardo likes to keep the relationship exciting and they share unusual interests. We do keep seeing this like unusual interest, the taboos and all of that. So I assume they just literally have a bit quirkier interests than others. It's an unconventional couple, and Kate is drawn to Leonardo's unique qualities. Leonardo feels appreciated by Kate, and Leonardo finds Kate charming and attractive. That British charm. Leonardo finds Kate charming and attractive, which we did see there is that like initial attraction on his end, so not surprisingly so. Now it's time for Mars. We have Kate's Mars in Gemini and Leonardo's Mars in Scorpio. Kate tends to be nitpicky with Leonardo, the criticism thing, which we honestly did see a bit more on Leonardo's side to be critical of Kate, so it's interesting. It's an impulsive relationship we're seeing again, so like impulsivity is like a thing here. Kate finds Leonardo intellectually stimulating, and Leonardo is possessive of Kate, which this is repeated, which is very strange because I'm not sure if like at the time they met, if they were in relationships with other people at that point, but you know, if he was so possessive of her, I imagine if you were both like young single people in Hollywood, you would have tried to make it work. But then again, like the whole sort of like weird Peter Pan syndrome, maybe he didn't want to settle down, especially when you're like in your 20s. And, you know, if you're in your 50s, you have that sort of mentality still. I imagine in your 20s, it's kind of worse in a way. So you definitely wouldn't want to be settling down, even though you have the opportunity, you are possessive of this person, which is very strange. Kate's Mars overlaid in Leonardo's 9th house. There is a strong need to travel together and they have easygoing chemistry. Kate is more straightforward around Leonardo and Kate feels she can have a good time with Leonardo. Kate is drawn to Leonardo. Leonardo's Mars overlaid in Kate's 10th house. Leonardo brings out Kate's competitive side, which we have been seeing like there, you know, sprinkles of like there is healthy competition. So not surprisingly so. There's a cold and detached chemistry and neither know what they want from the other. I have to assume this is more in Leonardo's end because he's being all like putting her on a pedestal, he's being possessive of her, but like I don't understand why. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't seem like Kate is necessarily reciprocating the same sort of energy. Like she seems to like him, but nothing to the point of like what we've seen with Leonardo, which that's something, why did I not think of that? Leonardo wants to impress Kate and Leonardo seems uninterested in Kate to outsiders. I mean, at this current point in time, you know, in the 2020s we're now, I'm not sure how it would have been, you know, when they first like got on the scene together and like when Titanic came out. But I mean, at this moment in time, like obviously he wouldn't be interested in her, you know, she's not exactly, you know, fitting his type at the moment. Kate tends to put her walls up with Leonardo, which I assume would be going back to that emotional insecurity. Kate both craves and fears Leonardo's stability, and relationship seems intense to outsiders. Kate's Mars, Trine Leonardo's Uranus. Kate is not a fan of Leonardo's lack of boundaries. I have to guess, like I said, considering, you know, they're talking about taboos, they seem to be very close friends. I wonder if she's not particularly impressed with his choices and not having a, you know, limit, or I guess, you know, how would you put it? Like a sort of like age, you know, to enter sort of thing. Kate feels free around Leonardo and it's an unusual meeting. I imagine it would be in a way. All I've heard about James Cameron as a director is very odd things. So I imagine the way he's, you know, recruiting, you know, auditioning people is in a weird way as well. I imagine they respect each other's independence, which, I mean, obviously if they're friends, that is a very good thing. So that was the final aspect, bringing us to the end of the reading. If you are still watching, please share your thoughts below. I'd be very curious to see what you guys have to say about this one. I think overall a pretty decent friendship. Like, you know, I can definitely see why they've been friends for a long time. There are definitely some quirks about it, but you know, overall, I think it makes sense. And if you have made it this far, please consider subscribing for more. I post these readings weekly. And besides that, give this video a like and I will see you guys next time. Bye!